Good afternoon, everybody. Joe Franco over at Sheridan Farms Workshop. Today, I'm going to be doing a demo on this basil that we just picked from the garden this morning. This is about 10 or 12 pounds of basil. It's about half of what we harvested from the batch that we planted. We have a bed that's about 4 by 8, and this is the second batch that we've harvested. We previously made pesto with it, and we made close to about a half a gallon. I think this time around we'll be making about a gallon, so we'll be able to bottle up quite a bit of bottles. This is a lemon basil. It's got a little bit of a citrus taste, not quite the same as a globe basil, which is your typical Italian basil, but it's still a really good basil. It's good for seafood, chicken, and it should make a really good pesto. Ingredients are a grated Parmesan cheese. I have salt, and I have a toasted pepper blend, and I put about a half a cup of garlic in there, fresh peeled garlic. So I'm just going to put a couple of tablespoons or a couple of spoonfuls. This is about a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. And all you want to do with this is make an initial paste, because you want to make sure you chop up the garlic. If you leave pieces in there, it's going to come out in your finished product, because pesto is one of the sauces that you make that doesn't get cooked. If you cook it, it turns dark. So it's kind of a raw product. You would make a cream base and you would add this at the end, or if you use a tomato, you would add at the end just so it doesn't turn dark. If you're making a pizza, you would drizzle it on the top of a pizza once it's finished. If you put it in heat, it's definitely going to turn dark. So back to the pesto, we have fresh peeled garlic, Parmesan cheese. Turn the machine on, and I just drizzle in the olive oil. And what I'm looking for is a pretty smooth paste. This is the only liquid that goes into the pesto, so you use quite a bit of it. But if you look, all it's doing there is just making a nice paste. I want it to keep going around. If it gets stuck to the bowl, you want to add a little more so you get a good flow. And that's what I've got going on here. So you got a really good flow. I look inside and I can see that it's all pretty much ground up. So now I can just start slowly incorporating some of the basil into it. I like to add a little bit of salt and pepper initially to give it some flavor, but I'm still going to re-season it at the end. So I just put in a few. If I see that it starts to slow down and it starts to get too thick, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop and then start it again and slowly start to add more basil until I go through as much as I need to go through. If it's too much basil for the container, which will fill up at the very top, then I'm going to have to empty it out and start the process again. You can see it's starting to slow down a bit, so I just add a little more until I see that flow going around in the circle again. And there it is again, and we can keep incorporating it. A good idea when you make pesto, especially things like basil, you can add some fresh leaves of spinach. And what that does is it helps to keep that green color, because basil always tends to darken. The spinach can also help to stretch it, maybe make the flavor a little milder, because sometimes the flavor of the pesto is too overwhelming. And it depends what you do. If you do cilantro especially, it can be overwhelming. So adding some spinach to it helps to dilute it, and it helps to keep that green color going. So there I add the flour again, and I'll keep incorporating this until I'm done, and we'll see how this pesto turns out.